Is there something you desire with all your heart, whatever your life? Is there something you'd travel to the ends of the earth for? If so, you're lucky, because there is a way to achieve it, and traveling to the ends of the earth is completely unnecessary, but there's still a place you have to go, and not everyone can get there. It's nearby, closer than many might imagine, but there are conditions that not everyone can fulfill. First, whatever you desire, know that it must be very strong. In your eyes, it must be something you truly need. If you begin your journey without sufficient steadfastness in your desire, you will fail, because once the journey begins, there's no turning back. The second requirement is transportation. Most people use a car, as it's the most comfortable mode of travel. Some have used smaller vehicles, such as ATVs or motorcycles, but this is very difficult. Given the harsh conditions of the journey, don't use a vehicle that's too large or conspicuous, because the less visible you are, the safer you'll be. Also, avoid using a vehicle that's too expensive or valuable to you. You can, of course, drive your brand new black Mercedes if you want, but don't expect it to return from the trip in pristine condition. Before you set off, make sure your vehicle is fully fueled. Now you need to find a road. This road has no name, isn't on the map, and technically doesn't even exist. It will only reveal itself to you if you look for it at the right time, and you'll only notice it if you know what to look for. Finally, you must be alone during the journey. But you didn't expect to travel with company, did you? You must leave at night. Choose a time when you think the roads are the most deserted. Go to any location that's simply a stretch of road surrounded by woods. Now, you must be very careful. If you're looking for a road, one will appear sooner or later, but you need to look for signs that will tell you it's the right one. As you approach it, you'll see or feel signs, but what those signs are depends on your desire. For example, if you crave wealth, you might notice a shimmer in the tree branches, as if there were diamonds there. If you're looking for love, you might see rose petals slowly dancing in the gentle breeze blowing toward the road. If you desire revenge, you might feel a growing sense of heat or rage as you approach. Just know exactly what you want, and you'll have no trouble finding the right turn. Once you know you've found it, take a deep breath and turn. From that moment on, you're on a nameless road that will lead you 11 miles to what you seek. Every mile will test your will and reveal whether you truly want this. Before you go any further, stop the car and let me warn you of one more thing. Don't turn on the radio during the ride. Don't use your phone. There won't be any reception anyway. Don't open the windows. Make sure they're closed before you continue. If your vehicle has no windows, prepare for the worst and know that the stakes are very high. At no point during the journey should you attempt to leave the vehicle. It's best not to exceed 30 miles per hour unless you're absolutely desperate to reach the end of the next section. And most importantly, as in any car, buckle up. Take your time. Feel ready. Once you hit the road, time will stand still. So don't worry about the night passing. You might not notice, but you're no longer in your own world. Finally, understand that once you've covered the first mile, there's no turning back. If you're even considering turning back, know that you should never have set out. As soon as you're ready, move on. For the first mile, you won't notice much change. The road winds mostly through forests, with a few exceptions. The air will get a little chilly, so turn on the heater if your car has it. After that, you shouldn't take your eyes off the road, so take a moment to calm any worries by gazing at the star-studded night sky. There will be more stars than you ever imagined. If it was cloudy before, you'll also notice that the sky is now clear. By the second mile, it'll get even colder. This is the main reason why traveling in an open vehicle is so difficult. It will get colder with each mile, even if it's warm outside. If it gets so cold that even the heater won't help, your only option will be to speed up. Furthermore, the road will become increasingly challenging with each mile, with more turns and hazards. Always focus on the road ahead to avoid as many obstacles and bumps as possible. A few rocks or potholes won't be a major problem, but you better keep your car in the top condition for as long as possible. If your car breaks down, the only thing left for you to do is freeze to death. By the third mile, you might start to notice silhouettes of people among the trees. Ignore them, even if you think they're getting closer. It will be hard to resist the urge to look at them, to resist their oppressive, distant presence. But know that they'll reveal themselves later. At this mile, even if the road starts out clear, it will become muddy. Stay centered. The road's width can fluctuate randomly. A quick side note: if you decide to turn back despite the previous warnings, your journey will never end. Sooner or later, you'll simply run out of gas and freeze. At the fourth mile, you'll not only begin to notice more figures, but you'll also begin to hear them, to a degree. A faint whisper will begin to echo in the back of your mind. This will continue. You won't be able to stop it. If they become too disturbing or distracting, try drowning out the whispers with thoughts of what you desire. Trying to listen and decipher what the voices are saying will only attract them, and believe me, you want to be as far away from them as possible. They'll get closer later anyway, so there's no need to rush things. At mile 5, the forest to your left will end, revealing a vast lake and a huge, shining moon over the water. The moonlight will be so captivatingly bright that headlights will be unnecessary, but avoid looking at it. If you stare at the moon for even a few seconds, the road ahead will end, sending you careening into the water, freezing to death within minutes. The voices will disappear, but don't get too excited. They'll return. At mile 6, remind yourself that you've already covered half the distance. Despite your progress, you may begin to lose hope. The clearing in the forest will end, and the stars will vanish, turning the sky into an empty, black abyss. The only light will be your headlights, and even they will flicker occasionally, even if they were previously in perfect condition. If you have a radio in your car, it will turn on automatically. If you haven't turned it off beforehand, it will emit an unbearable screeching sound that could drive you off the road. A calm voice will begin to speak of your worst nightmares. This voice will force you to visualize everything it says, so don't listen to it. If you begin to understand what it says, the terror will be too strong for you to continue calmly. Trying to turn off the radio will be futile. Increase your speed if necessary, but don't let the words penetrate your mind. As this mile comes to an end, the voice will fade, leaving your ears alone for now. At the 7th mile, the voices of the figures will return. Now they will no longer be whispers, but rather distant screams, getting closer with each passing second. At some point, you will hear a scream almost right next to your ear. as if one of them was right behind you. Don't turn round. Their faces will frighten you to the point of paralysis, and you'll fly off the road. If you don't pay attention, they'll lose interest and leave. It's said that these creatures are those who have traveled this road before but failed. Now they're just memories, and in the darkness they inhabit. They're driven by a single goal: to compel other travelers to join them. They've been proven incapable of causing physical harm, so as long as they don't cause you an accident, you'll be fine. At mile 8, if you're going too fast, slow down. This section of the road has very sharp turns, and if you're not paying attention, you'll fly through the trees and into the abyss. The cold here is nearly fatal. If you have a bottle of water in your car, it will freeze in seconds. The car's heating will become useless. The headlights will flicker more frequently, sometimes turning off for a few seconds. In such cases, slow down further, but don't stop. The figures will pursue you, and if you stop, they will catch up and surround your car. Their screams will be heard through the doors, sometimes escalating into maniacal laughter. Their hands will claw at the glass in a frantic attempt to cling to life. Don't look at them. They won't block your windshield, and the last thing you want is to get into an accident and be surrounded by them. If you don't escape, pray that the cold kills you. At mile 9, your vehicle will stall. The headlights and all internal systems will shut down. You can't avoid it. All you can do is close your eyes and immediately try to start the engine. Keep your eyes closed, because the figures will surround you. The engine starting will scare them off, and they will retreat for a while. This will give you a chance to move forward again. If you hear the glass cracking under their efforts, don't lose your focus. The entities may damage your car, but remember that they still cannot physically harm you. You will only hear their enraged voices in your head. There could be a dozen or 100 pursuers. As soon as the engine starts, floor the gas. Drive as long as you can stay on the road. Once you've gone a mile, they will leave. At mile 10, the voices will stop. If you looked in your rearview mirror, don't actually do this, you'd see them following you, but not as if they were chasing you. It would be as if they were seeing you off. At the 10th mile, the road will smooth out, as if you've returned to the start. The figures will line the sides of the road ahead. They won't be chasing you, just watching you pass. Some believe that by the 10th mile, the entities are impressed that you've made it this far towards your dream. This is not true. They're not impressed. They're happy. Happy that you're approaching the next mile. Happy because you're likely driving toward your death. At the final 11th mile, everything in your car will again, just as it did at the 9th mile, shut down. The car should seem to stop, but it will continue moving. An unknown force will pull it forward. In the darkness, you'll see a red glow ahead, like light at the end of a tunnel. Close your eyes and shield them with your hands. Do whatever it takes to block out what you're about to pass. Covering your ears isn't ineffective, but keeping your eyes closed is far more important. The red glow ahead is another clearing in the forest, but this time there's no lake or moon. As soon as you enter, an unimaginable, relentless noise will overwhelm you. No amount of courage or concentration can overcome it. The cold will turn into a merciless heat, searing the car. You'll feel like your flesh is peeling from your bones, like every fiber of you is burning away as you move through the screams of agony. As long as you keep your eyes closed and successfully resist the urge to see where you are, you'll survive this torment. It only lasts 31 seconds, but many have failed to cope and suffered the worst fate on this road. Where does this mile lie? Survivors can't say. Some call it the road through hell. When you've covered the last mile, the car will start up again. Stop. Take a moment to collect your thoughts. Let the screaming in your ears fade and realize that you've almost reached the end of your journey and the hardest part is behind you. Take a deep breath and start moving again. A kilometer later, the road will reach a dead end. Stop and don't try to start again. Nothing will happen this second, but don't let yourself be disappointed. Relax and close your eyes. Imagine what you've been dreaming about. Typically, this is the same thing you started the journey with, but for some, their desires may change along the way. Think about what drove you through the nightmares of this journey and imagine holding it in your hands. Once you've fully imagined it, slowly open your eyes. You will find yourself at the beginning of that nameless road. It may confuse you, but know that you have succeeded. The test is over. Your mind will turn to your desire. If it is something tangible, check the back seat or the trunk. If it is something large, if the object is small enough, it may be in your pocket. If your desire is immaterial, you may not notice any immediate changes. Return to where you started and discover the desired changes in your life. You may have found the love of your life. You may have acquired unnatural, unimaginable power. You may have exacted the most sophisticated revenge on your most hated enemy. In any case, you have undoubtedly received what you desired. So, what's the catch? Is your car now cursed? Do you have to lose something in return? Has your death become imminent? Of course not. You have passed the test. You have proven the seriousness of your desire. The sounds of Mile 11 will, of course, linger in your head forever, sometimes giving you strange and bizarre nightmares, but that's nothing compared to what you gained. Finally, I'll ask you a question. Perhaps you desire something more. Do you feel a little dissatisfied? After all, you're back where you started. The road lies before you, so why not take it again? If so, buckle up and let's go.